Hi, I am building a sampler in SynthEdit. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to SynthEdit. And I currently have completed a pitch shifter onto a frequency shifter. So the flowchart goes pitch shift and then frequency shift. And as far as I know, that is ready to go. So I'm going to do some testing. I'm first going to save. It's going to take a little while to save. There's lots of stuff going on inside. And go ahead and export that. File, export to VST as a synth. Playing the waiting game. Okay, that's done. So I'm going to switch over to FL Studio. I have a couple tools open from my previous tests. I'm going to bring in sampler. And I'm going to grab a bass drum. It's already got a few kicks on it. And if I remember correctly, this is a C sharp. So now we're looking at the pitch shifter, which currently does nothing. Turn that on. And I'm going to go ahead and set the tune here. That was C sharp 2 somewhere. Sharp 3, C sharp 2, double checking. Okay. Shift up 1. We're now in D. And 2. Bringing us to D sharp. And 3. E. And let's just crank it. A 9, A sharp 2. And as you can hear, the sample's getting shorter. And if we go all the way up to 12, we get pretty much a little sliver of sound. Shifting down, we get a much longer sound. So we went all the way down, we'd be at C sharp 1. Now bringing in the frequency shifter. I think should be compatible. I'll say A1. And we're shifting up by 12. A2. So we're getting some sort of strangeness happening. And it's in fact not shifting properly. If we were to leave it at 0, I'm sure we'd make it C2, C3. That's not, oh, this is reading, okay. So we'll bend down, what, 7, F sharp 2. We have A sharp 2. What exactly is going on? We've frequency shipped up to C sharp 3. We got this little tail end. Now we want to pitch shift down to F sharp 2. We're not exactly getting that. Something in the background here, not computing properly. The shift, the pitch bender should be sending the proper information for the frequency shifter to do its job properly. Fortunately, that doesn't seem like that's the case. Turn this off, we're looking at C sharp 2. Okay, that might be why, because that's in fact C sharp 3, which is up here. No. Yeah, something's not being computed properly. And I'd like to expand this about 24. Yeah, something's going on. It's not quite sending the right information to the frequency shifter. All right. I'm gonna head back over to SynthEdit. And actually gonna switch back to FL Studio real quick and remove the sampler. So on top of what the pitch shifter is doing with the frequency shifter is actually time stretching. So what's going on? Maybe because I forgot to add this switch. I'm gonna switch over to the new view here. So the frequency shifter was never sending to, or the pitch shifter was never sending to the pitch shifter because it didn't have its switch. And again, this needs to be off and on so that the readout reads out properly. Okay, try that again. Save. And some time for a save. Save's done. Go ahead, file export VST as a synth. Sorry about that, just fighting with my microphone. Head over to FL Studio, and hopefully things should translate properly now. Either that or it's going to be a complete mess. And we still got our notes, but we need a kick drum or bass drum. All right, coming in, C sharp 2. I'll set this to C sharp 2. All right, frequency shifter. Head up 12 octave. We are in fact there, but we're going to bring it down with the pitch shifter by 7. So now we should be at F2, which is in fact the case. And just to do a little bit more testing, we'll head up 7, the G sharp 3. And yeah, appears to be working. Maybe we'll head down from there. It says G sharp 1. So you can hear the kind of the tone is changing a bit. Yeah. This is supposed to be, oh, because it's changing the tune, that's right. All right, so that compared to this, the exact same note, but it's being shifted around. Shifted around and pitch frequency shifted. Sort of an effect almost. I just find that interesting. Even though it's on such a fake drum, it's the way it is. Take a listen to maybe a snare drum. So the snare drum is G sharp 2, Go ahead and shift that down, shift it back up. Sounds like a crazy heavy banging snare. Shift it up, shift this down. That sounds like a little tiny dinner plate with a piece of plastic over it. So I'm not really sure if you call that a formant or the transient. Either way, it's really messing with it. And as I said, I would like to extend this shift range further so that we can get maybe some super heavy kicks or, I don't know, little tiny snares, little tiny hats. In fact, let's see what a little tiny hat sounds like. Compared to, shift that up, full blast. Get one of those little tiny desk hats. $12 is basically enough. I mean, I don't really know why I integrated it since it just makes things exaggerated. But it's there, it's done. The only other part of that system that's needed is the fine tuner and the fine frequency shifter. I'm gonna head back to SynthEdit. And we'll open up this pitch shifter a bit more. Have to do that by changing the ranges here. So 24, it goes by 12. I'm gonna need 48 and possibly double that, or half of that, I think. So we'll go 1 divided by 12 gives us the 8.33 and divide that by 4. So we get 0.0208 and then continuous threes. Okay, so I'm just going to see if I can copy that right out of the calculator. Paste that here. And don't need that many threes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we'll go 8. Do everything after that. And press this up into 48. And change this to negative 24. And this up into 24. And that doesn't really matter. Enter. And we'll see what kind of readout we're getting here. So it looks like it's snapping properly. Oh, we got a 25 there. That's not good. Did I set it 25? No. Why is it giving a 25? Weird. What does that look like as a readout? Of course, this needs to be translated onto... Yeah, it's already translated. Okay, so... Perhaps this should actually be an integer. And I could completely eliminate this. Why did I even include a float before? It's not as if it needs to be. Yeah. All right. So we're going to swap this out. Anything that doesn't need a decibel value can use an integer. In fact, most of the other things can use an integer. I don't even know what the FL Studio readout's given. Push this over here. And this goes, let's get pulled. animation position to animation position. Somewhere here. And I need integer to text. Like so. Get rid of this stuff. An integer can be fed right into multiply. And of course value to there and text value to here. And this is already stylized. Equal negative 24 to 24. All right. What is this for? Is that going nowhere? Is it actually going somewhere? This GUI value, I don't see it going anywhere. Oh, it is going somewhere. What was it before? 12? Oh, I see. So I believe this is integer to float. I'm sure that's the appropriate number, the appropriate type. Whole numbers, right? 120 notes. Well, I sure hope so. I don't believe that would have been animation position. It would have been amplified somewhere. All right. So now what's coming out of here? Save. Saving. And turning on the audio system. And take a look, see. So shift has reset itself. Not sure why it didn't respect the low. So 24 should be 2, yeah. Thing looks adequate. And that is a ridiculous amount of pitch shifting. Go ahead and save. Oh, I gotta get rid of this volt readout. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of that. And file export VST as a synth. It's gonna ask me to save, so I'm gonna save again. Yeah, it's gonna be a long wait for the export. And my mic was totally off that whole time. Having too much fun anyway, I think. So tests are successful as far as I can tell. Just the fine tuners left. Which shouldn't be too much trouble. Right. So I'm going to head over to SynthEdit. I'm actually going to remove the sampler from FL Studio. So I'll bump into it later during the next export. And inside SynthEdit, just bear with me for a second. All right, so I need those fine tuners. Well, I want those fine tuners. And I got some background sound bleeding into my stream here. Just fine, there's nothing I can do about it. Looking at incorporating fine tuners. So I need just a couple knobs. Here. Of course, these should be post. In fact, as it stands, sort of feeling like perhaps it should only be a frequency shifter fine tuner. So that runs in hertz. I'm going to go about, say, 200 hertz to 200 hertz. And multiply that by what? Of course, that would be hertz, and I need kilohertz. So I need to multiply that by 100. So, no, I need to divide that by 100. Looking at my multiply here, that is that many zeros. That's hertz, shifting by hertz, and we'll call this fine, I guess. And I'm not going to spend all day looking for that. Go in here and go fine. And that does not affect the readout because it is too fine. This goes up here. Wait, so I'm moving around that multiply. Down, move that down, that here. And place that, probably inject it here. There's already a multiplier there. I'm actually going to go ahead and get rid of this multiplier. More, delete retain wires. And I'll just sum this amount into this original here. Now this is only going to work when the fine tuner is online. So negative 200 and 200. That's hertz. That's post fine tuning. Problem with pitch shifting is I can't bring it in after. But I can in fact make it affect the control system of pitch, which is current control system. Just have to inject its values into everywhere. Unfortunately, if I inject it, it will mess up with the frequency shifter. I don't have the algorithm for post pitch shifting, or how you say live pitch shifting. So that's gonna have to stay out. It's not gonna happen in this iteration. Just the frequency shifter. Set it 0? No. Need to set that. That is an integer. So I need a conversion. Integer to floats. Three set value 0 and my range negative 200 to 200. Done. So that's just a downstream pitch shifter. It actually can come after the readout. And that's in hertz. And I'm pretty sure that works, so I'm not even going to bother doing any testing. I believe that will be it for sample transformation. Next time we'll be looking at the mask. So thanks for watching.